Welcome back to an episode of Around the Corner. And on this week's episode, we have the lovely Mahalia Smith. Say hi to everybody, Hales.
Hey, everybody. I'm Hales.
I'm so excited for this interview. I'm very happy to have you here, but you already know what it is.
Always, Dina, it's here, now, and forever for me and you.
A blank period. Now that everybody knows. So, before we get into the interview, we have a little game we're gonna play.
Oh God.
We're gonna play a game of song association, and I'm sure you know how this goes.
Of course, I know how this goes. Oh my God, this is one of my biggest fears. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 words. You're gonna have 10 seconds for each round to come up with a song that has the word in either the title or in the lyrics. You can sing it, you can rap it, you can do whatever you gotta do within the 10 seconds. All right, so you ready? No pressure.
Okay, Dina, I'm ready.
I cannot wait. Okay, first word. Your first word is here.
I don't know.
Come on. SWV.
Oh my God, Dina. You know what? What was coming to my head was sing a hymn. All the same. Here I stand, and I would say, that ain't their song.
Thought I give myself away.
Oh, here I am. Period. Period. Oh my goodness.
Church kids, you know. If you know, you know.
I'm crying. Oh God. Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, round two.
God.
The word is close.
Close to me. Close to me. I feel you close to me. Close to me. Yes.
Okay. Come on now. That's a local track.
Yes, it is. Period.
Tell the people about that one.
Shout out to Yvette. Yep. My girl Yvette wrote a hit called Close to Me. And we recorded it with her in the studio, me, Rini, and Micah, and the family. Go check it out. Yvette, Close to Me.
It's a lovely track. I had it on repeat for like 24 hours straight.
It's beautiful.
But that's besides the point. It's so nice. Okay, girl, we got one more.
Oh.
I think this one should be easy for you. I try to make this one easy for you.
Okay.
All right. Your word is teased.
Tease me just the way I like. Oh, you know how to do it right. Jesus, forgive me. Forgive a sinner.
Come on now.
Oh, goodness.
That's a Mahalia Smith track.
Yes, it is. My song. My song, Fall in Love. Fall in Love.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Girl, that was good. Now we're eased up.
We're eased. Yes. Ready to roll.
Good. You've heard some songs that Haley's been on already, songs that she's written. You're getting all the taste of all the good stuff. This is too early.
Period.
We gotta get into it. So, girl, for those who don't know you, Haley has come from a very long line of musicians in her family. It's generational. The talent is just being passed down, and we love it. Lots of singers, songwriters, lots of instrumentalists in your family, music producers. And so I want to know, did you always see yourself writing and recording your own music?
As surprising as it is, absolutely not, actually. I was always in the music scene, but I never really wanted to be in the forefront. But that changed as I grew, because when I was younger, I had always dreamed of being a musician, obviously, and being out in the forefront. But as I went through school, I realized that I was okay with just being backgrounds, being in the environment still, but not really pursuing that as my career. And so like I finished college, started like working in that field, and was still gigging with like my along with my sister and like other numerous artists around the city and the Maritimes. And it's just so happened that like I would still do like some solo gigs, but it wasn't like anything that I was kind of promoting, and it wasn't something that I would like create music for. It wasn't until I was asked by CBC to be a part of the story and the song. So my brother JR was a drummer already for this series, and every time they had a show, Owen was also playing keys. Every time they had a show, me, my mom, my dad, my sister, we would go. And all the artists that were a part of the story and the song were actual songwriters. And so the guy that was in charge of the story and the song, his name is Jeff. He knew our family personally. So he's known me for many years. He's known like my family for many years. So he knows that I'm a singer. So he asked me if I would be a part of the story and the song, one of, the show that they put on. And I was like, yeah, of course, no problem. And as I agreed to it, I realized that it's a songwriter circle. And I'm like, oh, snap. That means that I have to actually write songs because it's not a cover show. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous. And I was never really confident in my writing skills. I thought that writing songs were like the hardest thing in the world. I thought it was the hardest. And I remember like going home to Rini, and I was just like, oh my God, Rini. Like I told Jeff I would do this story in the song thing, and like the theme was surrender. And I was like, I don't have any music. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, well, you're going to have to start to write. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be hard. And she was like, don't overthink it. Like, tell your personal stories. Like, don't fabricate your music, because that means that you're taking authenticity out of who you are. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And she was like, people will appreciate your music more if you're authentic to who you are. She was like, people like you. Like, you're a ball of fun. So, like, why can't you just convert that into your music? And I'm like, okay, I get it. But in that creative process, like, I found like a new love, but it was really bizarre for me, because when I was like starting to write, I was doing it along with my like Rini and JR, and they were thinking that my music would be like my personality, but it was a complete opposite. And I was just like, I guess like that's when people say like opposites attract. That's exactly what it was, because like my personality is like super big. Like I love to have a good time and be super bubbly, but my music's really like chill and really like when I think about it, it's just like really, I get closed in when I sing my own music. And it wasn't until like I started to write my music and be in tune with that side of myself where I was like, okay, I love this. Like I want to do this. And then like through that whole CBC experience, a lot of other doors opened. Then a lot of people, once they heard like my songwriting and like my music, they just wanted more. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just give you what you want. And like, now I'm just going to give the people what they want.
I love it. That's beautiful that experience, it kind of forced you to grow
It
from
did.
where you were probably very comfortable being where you were for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say is one of the biggest things you learned about yourself in that songwriting process?
It was actually like being okay with my feelings, like understanding that the things that I experience in my life and the things that I feel, like it's okay because other people can relate to it. And I felt really strongly to write about love. For some reason, that was the thing that was on, like, well, still is on my mind. Like, I don't know if this just is if it's just a phase, but I just felt that because I'm a very loving person. Like I love people. I love, like I love being around people. And like starting to write my own music, the only thing that was coming like really strongly in my mind and in my heart to write about was love, and not just the good parts of love, but like also like the realistic and like not okay parts of love. And I'm like, as like a human going through this world, we lack a lot of love. And if I could just use like, you know, my gift to demonstrate love through my music, like why not do that? So like through that writing process, it connected like my feelings and what I went through in my personal life in love, and like I'm giving that to other people. So it let me be vulnerable and be okay with like telling my feelings and my experiences with the world, and me making me like very like confident and powerful within myself for being able to tell my stories and feel like power in telling my stories, and not like feeling that they're not valid or like my words don't matter, but like not even caring about that, but just giving the world that anyways.
I love that. I love that you said, you know, what you wanted to write about was love. And what I love about that is because for those who don't know, we both believe in Jesus. And
Absolutely.
so, you know, we know that God is love.
Like
And so
absolutely.
because that is the thing you wanted to write about, I just love that because he's part of who you are,
Who I
and
am. Absolutely.
your faith is a big part of who you are as a person. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, you started singing in church, you know, your whole family
Whole entire
started out.
family.
So, you know, I love that he is a part of what you're doing also, and what you're creating also, even if it's different facets of that.
Right.
And that's such an interesting topic,
It
especially
is.
in Christian circles. And this ain't no Christian podcast, but I'm gonna go here for a second
As you
because
should.
the way the world displays love, and the way that love is communicated to us, is explained to us through the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
what we see as believers are two different things,
Yeah.
but we can't ignore one or the other
Mm-mm.
because we're human
Exactly.
people. And so we feel things that feel like love that might not turn out to be love at the end of the day. But then when you get to know God, you know who love is. And so I just found that really interesting that you said that. And that's what I really wanted to point out.
And
But
it's
anywho,
also like even that connection through that was like my first time actually even singing was in church. So like through that experience, it was like I found my first love while discovering my first love.
period. Say that. That's a word. Someone write that down.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like 4 years old singing Because of Who You Are at my Sunday school concert. And I'm crying while I'm singing the song. I'm 4 years old. Like at 4 years old, you shouldn't even really know what you're singing. You don't even know, you're not even paying attention to the words. But because I loved music so much as a child, and like I was using my gift that God gave me, I was instantly touched at that age. Cried the entire time singing the song.
That's beautiful.
Start to finish. To the point where I can't even sing the song now because that's all I do is cry from start to finish. It does the same thing to me. Same thing.
I love that. I love it. But that's the power of
That's what I'm
music,
saying.
and that's also the power of God working
God.
in people.
Yep.
You know, and I think that you're one of the people that I feel like when I talk to about music, you understand how I feel, because I can't explain how music makes me feel. You know, when you hear certain things, I just get so excited, and I can't express, you know, how it feels. And it's just like an emotion or something. It's unexplainable sometimes.
That's the thing. It's like a feel, and that's how that's how I feel. Like I get two different feelings when I'm singing for two different purposes. When I sing in church, I'm at a point now where I don't sing in church because I can't make it through a song. I can't sing without crying. Like you can ask Rini, you can ask Mike. Like it's no point in me singing a lead in church because the song's not going. It's just I can't do it. Like I can't do it because it's different when you separate yourself from singing, and then when you're actually singing on a stage where you're giving your entire personality and you're giving yourself. Like when I sing in church, that's a different emotion. It's a different thing that you tap into because you're not singing for yourself. It's not a performance. You're singing from your heart. It's a surrenderance. It's a cry for forgiveness. And like, it's something that like, you're literally like, you're literally surrendering yourself. And like, you're giving your gift back to God and he gave that gift to you. So like, you're giving thanks. And I don't know, for some reason, I can't get over that. And I can't stop crying. But like when I go and sing like my own stuff, it's just like, I still use that same emotion, but the feeling is different because when I'm in church, I want to feel what I'm singing. But when I sing to other people, I want other people to feel what I'm singing. It's different personal connections that I'm making.
It's a different type of interaction also, right?
Absolutely.
So that makes sense. I understand.
2 different offerings. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a offering in a different sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I love that moment that we just had.
Yep.
Hallelujah. So, singing on stage. I know you've sung in many musicals and many productions, but you've also been singing BGVs for your sister Rini for a long time. You, Mike, and Rini, the Smithereens, been kicking it for a hot minute. And so, I want to ask you, and I've never actually asked you this question personally, so I'm excited for your answers. What's been the most challenging part for you going from background vocals for Rini and stepping into your solo career?
Honestly, like the most challenging thing I think is not even for me, but I think it's for everybody else, is that the way that they see me on stage with Rini, which is like full of energy and like being like, so loosey goosey, is the fact that when I do my own show, it's a completely different show. It's a completely different vibe. It's not like super like energetic and super like crazy fun, but it's like super chill and super like vibey, and they're just like, I think everybody else is having a harder time with it than I am actually. It's more like an identity crisis, but it's not. It's just like I have 2 different sides to myself, and I present one with literally not even when I just do BGs for Rini, but like every other artist that I do BGs for. I'm like a ball of energy and I can't stop. But when it's like when all the attention is just on me, I freeze.
But you know what I love about watching you perform is you do very little, like movement wise, but it's just as captivating.
Yeah, it's very demanding.
I love it.
It's very demanding.
Yeah, it draws people in.
I don't know why or how, but like it's very demanding. Like,
that's an interesting word choice.
Yeah. But like, and I don't understand why, but when I'm about to sing in front of people, like there's not much I can really do but express with my hands. Like literally that's the only thing I can do is express with my hands and like move my head. Literally that's the only thing I can do. Like and it's just it's so weird to me. I don't know why, but like that's probably the most challenging thing. And also challenging, like, because me and my sister, like, we are, like, the way when we sing, like, our tones and stuff are so similar, but, like, our ideas and what we, like, the music that we create apart from each other is so different. Like, it's super, super, super different. And, like, but she creates everything for me, like, music-wise. So, like, she gets me 150% more than I kind of get myself. Like, Rini could literally call me and be like, oh, I just made this beat for you. And I'd be like, oh, my God, I would never be able to translate that in my mind. But you get it. Like, but then when it comes to, like, her having, like, a artistic, like, meltdown, I get her. Like, I can be her fix. So we're, like, each other's fixes now.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like each other's fixes. It's just like, But it was never like that before we started making music separately. But yeah, I think everybody else is having a harder time with the separation, because Rini's personality is like, we literally just say like we're Tamar and Tony. Like, I'm in real life, like I'm Tamar's personality, Rini's Tony's personality, but like in music, like I make music like Tony and Rini makes music like Tamar.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys kind of switch because Rini is very laid back for her music. You know, last calls like
This is what I'm saying.
It's very hype, right? So it's interesting because Rini be making like party songs.
This is what I'm saying. Like Rini makes party music, and this literally is so crazy because Rini's music is the type of music that like I want to go out to, like I want to like listen to. But then it's just like my music is the opposite of what I even am. I don't get it. I
think it just goes to show like the fullness of a person.
Yeah.
You know, because I think sometimes we can get fixated on people being who we see them as all the time. You know, like you think about celebrities and people get surprised when celebrities do certain things. It's like, you don't know these people.
Don't know them.
You don't know them at all. So you don't know what their personality's like.
No.
You just see what they allow you to see through their music and performance and things like that. So I just always find that interesting. But I love that you and Rini have that connection. That's so special because, you know, not everybody has, not even just like a sibling who's in like that same area as you, but even just to have mentors, you know, to have people in your corner like that, I think is very important, especially in this industry.
It's very important.
And you've seen the ins and outs of this industry for a long time. I know that your family's probably told you many things and you've seen many things touring and whatnot. And so how have things changed from your perspective?
Like I started at a young age. Like I remember my first jazz festival appearance, Halifax Jazz Festival, I was 12 years old. And that was 11 years ago now. So like,
wow.
Yeah, like it's been a while. It's been over a decade now.
You're like seasoned in the industry.
Like very much. Like, so I like, it's mind blowing now that like we can now like share stages with like our fellow people from the communities. Like that's crazy because I remember us being like the only tokens on the show. And like working so hard to not just be like known as the tokens, but because we really needed to be there because we worked so hard to be there. And now to see so many other artists like Jody and Keontae and Zamani, like having all of these opportunities by working so hard and like us being able to share stages together.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing. But, and like not just being on stages where it's like a Black Vibes show. Like, you know, like being in actual shows. Like, you know, and we can all share those stages together. Like we get opportunities like Symphony Nova Scotia shows, you know, like our own named shows, and win awards where like we're known for our actual categories and winning our actual categories. So like that's important. And like that's really important. And we can dominate, and now like being able to dominate spaces, like that's really strong.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even really think about it like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've seen the music industry, but I wasn't working in it. I wasn't really involved a few years ago, right? And so that is true. And I think in the community, we knew each other's names, but when it came to recognition and who's getting the calls and who's being put on what stage, you know, we weren't really thinking about those things.
And for for the longest times, it was just us for a long time. And like, it was just us and like Asia and Sydney.
Yeah.
And then like now there's so many of us. Like there's so many of us now getting so many
You got
different
a roster now.
so many of us doing so many different things, and we have so many different opportunities, and like even like it's just so crazy to see how the hard work really pays off. Like even if we have to work twice as hard, like we do that anyways. But like how the hard work like literally pays off. Like to see even like the musicians, like to see my brother, to see where he come from to now being endorsed by Pearl. Like people are working for this stuff. Like people are actually working and practicing and like setting high standards and meeting a lot of goals for themselves. And even us like being able to bring like musicians from like United States here to do our shows. Like
It's wild.
we're like, you know, like that's crazy. Like we have those connections now that we can even do that. So it's been a great change, and over the years the shows are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the opportunities are just bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's as the years go by, it's getting better and better. We have a long way to go, but we are getting there.
Yeah, there's definitely a ways to go, but
Yep.
I think it's safe to say that there's been significant progress.
Oh my God, yes.
Sure. And I think, and I don't know, I want to ask you, like, what are some things you like to see being done differently? Because I think that there's lots that we need regarding resources and support just to, you know, establish a quality to what we're able to contribute to the industry. I don't know your thoughts on that.
Well, that's just the thing. Like, we have so much, and it's so innovative, and it's so hip that we have to, like, the artists like that I know that are in our circle, we have so much to bring. Like, and it's so different from what the East Coast is actually accustomed to. And I understand that that's a change, and like, I understand that some people might not get it.
Okay.
But listen, it's either ride the wave or get lost in the sauce at this point. Because it's not going to, like, the wave's not going to stop.
No. And why should it? If you want people to create art, you can't tell them what type of art to create.
Exactly. And to understand that art has no boundaries or any limits. You can't limit art. But you have to appreciate what art is, even if you don't understand it.
Yeah, and
that's where we really need to be, at a space where if we don't understand what is being created, be receptive to at least explore.
Yeah, you know, I remember there was one time I was listening to a bunch of local music for a selection committee, and there was an artist that came up, and there were a lot of artists that came up, and I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. Mm-hmm. But who am I to say what creativity is? Because like the creative processes, they can be similar for a lot of people, but the results are always different.
Always.
And so, you know, you don't have to like be all gung-ho for someone just because they're local or whatever. Like, you like what you like, but don't approach art as if the only art that's acceptable is the art that you prefer.
Yes. And it's not okay to oppress art either, just because you prefer a different type of art. But I feel like there's already been kind of a shift. And because of all the things that's been happening in the world, everybody kind of has to shift with it.
Yeah, if you don't, you're going to get lost in the sauce, like you said.
Or you're going to get called out.
Nobody wants that PR.
Nobody wants to be called out. No one wants to be that guy. So
no, not at all.
And it's been happening for too many years.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like locally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember when my dad was a part of the Gospeliers, very prominent gospel group in Canada. They submitted for ECMA. ECMA told them that they weren't gospel enough.
Like what?
And they didn't win the award.
which I don't understand because anyway.
We don't have those issues anymore.
No, we have more
We
diversity involved
yes.
in places,
Yes.
and that can speak to these genres because they have experience in these genres, whether
You're
they're
living
culture
it.
or they're living it or
Living
they
it.
it like, you know, so we have people who can actually say, I know what this music represents, and yes, this is valid. You know, people who can speak for us, right? So we love that there are people in those spaces, and I won't do any shout outs because I might miss people, and we're not doing that here. But you know who you are, and you're doing amazing.
Amazing.
So, you know, when you think of, and we've kind of alluded to this already, but when you think about the future of our local music scene, what are some things that you're looking forward to?
You know what I'm looking forward to most? An actual space so that we can bring artists here. Like,
Love it.
Halifax is too musical and they like concerts way too much to not have like an amphitheater. Like, it's just so crazy that we don't have one. Like, it blows my mind. And the population is just getting too large for us not to have one. And we also like need bigger like stages to accommodate local artists that are like have big names. We don't need to always have to leave Halifax to go and do shows. Like, we don't have to always have to go to like the Capitol Theater or the Imperial Theater to do theater shows. Like, we do have the Cohen, and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, but like we need an amphitheater for sure. And I know it's coming, so that's to be excited for.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
We definitely need it. And I think
big time
that would help us take the scene more seriously, the music more seriously.
That's the thing.
And I really would love to see us being a tour stop for artists that we listen to all the time. I don't understand why people only come at certain festivals.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
on tour, come here.
We don't just need Halifax Jazz Festival once a year for our favorite artists to come here. There's no way Halifax shouldn't be a tour stop.
I think it only makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. We're the hub of Nova Scotia. Population is rising.
Rising really quickly.
Rising. We're over 1 million now. Like,
who would have thunk it? I didn't know enough space.
Like, it only makes sense. We always are the last to conform, but we will conform. We will conform. We will.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the future looks good as long as people make the right investments. I think that's where the changes need to happen. Is where are we putting the money? Who is the money going to?
That part.
And, you know, making sure that we're being equitable about those types of decisions. So conversations are being had. So hopefully the pie gets split properly this time around.
Yes.
So given your like musical experiences, you know, we've already kind of talked about it, but when it comes to your sound, how have the experiences you've had musically helped you discover your sound? Like, what are things that you might have pinpointed in other artists that helped you create what we get to hear?
My biggest like go-tos, if I'm gonna be inspired to write, it'll be like artists like Janae Aiko is really like important in my world. I love like the calmness of her in like her music, and like when you like read her lyrics, like how every word's with intent. Like, she doesn't really pull punches, and I just think that's like, she gives me visuals when I hear her music. I see what she's saying. And I think that's so crazy. And I'm like, she's more of a storyteller than she is just like a writer. And so when I've always kind of like written my songs off of scenarios that you can picture in your mind. Like, I'm like, let me write something that somebody can visualize as I'm singing. And she really like helped me with that. I listen to her like all the time. If I need inspo, I always hit up Janae, or I like her. But I like her for different reasons. She makes when I watch her perform, she gives me a rock star vibe. There's nothing in my mind. There's nothing like her. She gives me rock star vibes because she's a musician. She's an artist. Like, she's an actual artist. She will get on a drum kit and play live drums. She will put a guitar in her hand. She will put a bass in her hand. She will play piano.
She's like Prince.
I just have never seen nothing like it. And when I look at her, I get inspired when I see her, because I'm just like, at this point, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing that you cannot do.
Yeah.
And then I love the Summer Walker. She gives me inspiration too, because I just kind of follow her life, and I think she's so interesting. And like, her music is based off all of her emotions, and like, she takes you on like this journey of like, this is how I'm feeling, and she'll literally say anything, and I'm just like, that's so authentic to who she is. Literally, that's so authentic to who you are. And that's why the music's so good. And that's why people love you so much, because you're just who you are. Same with Ari Lennox. She's also one of my faves, because she's so authentically her. Like, she doesn't hide behind any agenda. She's just like, this is my music. If you don't like it, boo-hoo. If you like it, thanks.
I also appreciate her presence on social media, because she's very authentic.
She's so real, especially her Twitter. Like, her Twitter is just unreal. Like, she just don't care. And I'm just like, you're so human. Like, when this COVID thing happened, she was just like, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I know I'm struggling. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like, you're not fronting just because, like, you have a high social media platform. Like, you're not fronting about anything. You're just like, I'm struggling. It's cool. Like, I'm not gigging and I'm struggling from it, period. And I'm just like, exactly. Like, I can relate to you on a human level. So, like, those four have been really, like, important in my, like, solo career right now, in regards to creating what I sound like. And Sade.
That's a big one.
Sade. I'm obsessed. Like, she, just like who she represents when she's on stage. Like, her stage presence is just like everything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also no one I can think of that sounds like her.
Nobody sounds like her. Like, no one sounds like Sade.
Her range, her, like, I don't know. Just her, like, the way she pairs instrumentals with her vocals, like,
unreal.
There's things I would have never thought of.
It's unreal.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah. So, like, those are my, like, when I'm home, I'm sitting, like, on my couch, I just literally watch them.
I love it.
Yeah. I just watch them.
That's really telling, because how earlier I mentioned the way you perform, you can tell that you're trying to tell a story, that you're trying to give an experience and walk people through your experiences. And so on the Orange Corner, this is something that people should probably expect. And I don't know what you're most excited for others to see in your performance, but I know for me, that's something that I always look forward to when I see your name attached to a stage, because I'm there.
Literally almost every time. Every time. And, like, that's always what I kind of, like, say. Even if I'm, like, performing with, like, a band, I always say to them, like, we're in this space together. We're going through this journey together. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
We're going to be together while this happens. If it's magic, it's magic. If it's dust, it's dust. Like at the end of the day, like we're gonna do this all together. Like this gonna be ours together. Like this space is ours, and we're gonna go on this journey, love journey together. Because that's what it is. It's a love journey. Like, and we're just gonna present it to the world. And I think that's so cool. Like I just love that I can just be like, oh, I'm about to take you guys on a love journey. Like I remember me and Rini did a show in Lunenburg in the summertime. It was just us two. We've been doing like a lot of sister shows. Everyone's like obsessed with the fact that we're sisters and we sing. So we've been like literally all last summer, all me and Rini did was shows together, and we would just trade off songs. So Rini would sing a song, then I would sing one of mine. Then Rini would sing one, then I would sing mine. And we would like do it kind of sort of like a songwriter circle. So like we would tell the story behind the song. And I remember we were in Lunenburg, and every song that I was singing, because they're mine, it was about love in a certain form. And I would tell the story behind why it was created. And somebody in the audience was like, I'm feeling so much love from you. And I'm like, this is why I'm doing it. Like, I want you to feel love. I want you to, like, this is why I write what I write, because I want people to feel love when I enter the room. I want you to leave feeling abundance of love. So like through my performance, I just hope that's what people feel. Like that's what's most important, because we really are lacking love in this world, and we really need to love a little more.
Yeah, we need some of that good loving up in here for sure.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that song, like what the world needs now is love. Like that song.
Come on.
That message will forever be relevant.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
Because one thing that you can't have enough of, and it shouldn't be because there is a lack, but simply because people want more of it because it's a good thing to have.
Exactly.
But we're in a world that is lacking of it, which is sad.
Sad.
But you know, there's always room for more. There's always room for more.
Always overflowing of love.
Yes, I love it. So Hales, tell us, you know, like what's coming up? What can people keep eyes out for, their ears out for? Because my ears are ready.
Okay. So I will be dropping an EP in the next 3 months.
Love it. I wish I had a drum roll prepared.
It is all finished. All completo. Finito. Everything is done.
Feel so good. That must feel so good.
I had separation issues.
Really?
I had a really hard time. I almost had a meltdown. Actually, yeah, I almost did have a meltdown. Yeah, I was losing it. Kind of. I had created everything, and then I was really afraid to give it to everybody. That's why it's taking so long, because I don't want to give it to anybody.
Haley.
Yeah. Like I was having a really bad time. I was having a hard time. I was, especially for some reason, with Fall in Love, because it was the first one that we created, and it's my kid. And I was like, I love this, and I want everybody to love this as much as I do. And if they don't, I don't know why. Like I just feel like I just want to give my best part of myself when I do release this. So I worked really hard on it, and I just don't want to disappoint anybody with it, because a lot of people are waiting for it, and a lot of people are just asking all the time, "Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait! I can't wait! I can't wait! I can't wait!" And I'm like, I really hope that when I do give it to you, that this is what you're waiting for. Like, hope that you're not disappointed, because
I think that people will be fine with whatever.
Because I'm just like, that's just my anxieties that I've been dealing with my project. But you know what? I've gotten some good feedback from a lot of different people. Actually, you know what? Once I leave this, Dina, I'm going to send you the whole thing. I've got some different feedback from a lot of people, and they're like, you're crazy for feeling the way you're feeling. And I'm like, well, probably. Yeah,
yes.
Probably. I'm like, yeah, probably. I probably am.
Well, I remember when you had sent me like a couple of the tracks, and this is when you first recorded them. They were like super raw, just beat and vocals. There was no mixing. There was no nothing.
They're all...
And even then, I was like mind blown at what I was hearing. And so, even like seeing you perform over the past year, because you've been performing some of these songs and they haven't been released, but I could hear the changes and the developments in it. Yeah. So I already know the
and that's just so crazy because like I literally have from when the songs were nothing to like where they are now, and I literally gave Rini producer's reign on my entire project. I'm like, you know what? Like, if you want to enter this like producing field, I want to let you be that 100%. Like, use me as your little muse. Like, let me be. I love to be your little science experiment because we can do this together. Like, press and play. Like, this is me and you. At the end of the day, you're my sister. What I don't think works or what you think should work, it's just going to be anyways. So, like, it was the easiest process in the world creating this thing. The only problem was me being scared to release it.
Yeah, you'd be one of those artists that has like a vault full of stuff.
Like,
don't get any idea. Let it out, please let it out.
And that's where that's where I am. And like my publisher now, he's just like he calls me like 4 times a day, and he's like, next 3 months, it's out, whether you like it or not. And I'm like, at this point, it's above me. Okay, it's above me now, and just know it's coming out in the next 3 months. Really soon. That's really soon for me. But it's done. Nothing else is happening to them, so why not release them? Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Rini are releasing a project together too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is like Christmas all over again.
Yeah, that's gonna be
this is
a new thing.
I'm considering this a late birthday gift for me personally. I just got really excited about that.
Yeah, me and Rini are we're gonna release an album together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Because everybody's been also asking for that, because they're just like, it doesn't make any sense how you two are sisters and you guys won't release anything together. And it's just like, well,
you have a point.
It doesn't make sense. It really don't. It doesn't make sense. But that's coming out in the near future too. So 2 things to look forward to. Yeah.
That is just amazing.
Yep.
Those are 2 great things to look forward to.
Yep.
I would just like to say. That's beautiful. This is great. I'm so excited. So excited to watch your performance again on the Orange Corner. I think it's going to be great. You had a blast. You were very comfortable, so,
I was.
You were very cozy. I think there was one point where it seemed like you forgot that this was like a recording for something.
But that's what happens to me every time that's the thing, because I wear glasses because I can't make eye contact with the people, and my eyes are shut the entire time.
Especially me.
And like my eyes are shut the entire time, so it doesn't even make sense for people to see my eyes. And it's just like I'm literally always so in the zone, and like really every time I sing my songs, I really tap back into me reliving those moments.
I can tell.
And it just makes me happy. It just makes me happy. That's all I can say.
I think it's great. I think that those who watch it are really going to enjoy your performance. And then they're going to be sitting on the edge of their seats, just like me, waiting for these 2 projects to come out in the near future. I'm marking my calendar and everything 3 months from today. If it's not out, I'm calling your publisher. Say, drop it now.
Because at the end of the day, the only person that would be stopping this from happening is me. No, for a fact, it would be me. It's me holding up the process.
You gotta let it come out. So that
we're gonna let it flow. We're gonna let it flow.
I know you have new experiences to take us through, so
yes, I really do.
Those ones
have their moment. Yeah,
so we gotta bring in the new. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, Dina. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Listen, we're working hard out here, I want to do my part, do what I can, because like you said, you know, there's work that needs to be done, and we're doing great, but there's a longer way to go.
Yep.
And
More is coming.
Gap that I would like to fill.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know if you have anything like to say to close. Where can people find you? Do you have anything on YouTube right now?
Yes. If you just type my sweet old name, Mahalia Smith, you can definitely see me all over the good YouTube. All over the good YouTube.
Love it. YT.
Yes, YT. You can see me spreading all the love on YouTube. Absolutely.
Cool. And if anyone wants to follow you on Instagram, are you Instagram, Twitter? What's the deal?
Haley.Smith on IG. And my Twitter's a hoax. Like my Twitter is a hoax. Like I think the name is crazy. It's like Hales Smith. Like I go by 3 names: Mahalia, Haley, and Hales. Whatever you feel on that day is the name you get to call me. That's all I can say to you. So
You love it.
Mahalia on YouTube, Haley on Instagram, Hales on Twitter.
Depends on where you want to be.
Where you want to be.
Yes. Well, Haley, thank you so much for being here, for partaking in the Orange Corner. We love it. We love it.
Thank you for having me, Dina.
Of course. Anytime. All the time.
All the time.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will check you on March the 12th, and you can see Mahalia, do her thing. So get ready. Please come with snacks, come with tissues, because there might be tears. But either way, get ready to go through the journey of love with Haley on the Orange Corner. See y'all. We love you.